You're in the office, baby. Going up.
I said, rage! Motherfucker! Yeah! Motherfucker!
What you tried to do, you couldn't destroy me. I'm still standing. I'm still strong.
Homelander is the worst. He's hurt people.
What if it was a mistake to take over VOD and then... I'm just telling you, they all know I'm a fraud.
What's going on, YouTube? We back in the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn Ives YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key, and we back with another TV show review, and we got The Boys, Season 3, Episode 7, Here Comes a Candle to Light You to Bed review. Going into this episode, you know, Starlight, my bad, y'all, I was working on Stranger Things. Going into this episode, you know, Starlight, so essentially it came out as far as calling VOD out, pretty much putting everything in the spotlight as far as what they're really about, Homelander, everything. She was pretty much calling everything out. So now you know you got Ashley coming in pretty much trying to put trying to take the flame out, pretty much trying to calm the noise down or whatever, and she's essentially working with a Fox News parody person. I forgot my man's name. So essentially everybody's trying to pretty much put the noise to bed as far as what Starlight is saying, and pretty much trying to turn Starlight into somewhat of a female that's scorned because of her and Homelander's breakup or whatever. So that's pretty much what they trying to put on that spin as far as what Starlight is saying or whatever. Essentially, we get over to my boy Black Noah. He's still hiding out from Soulja Boy, and we pretty much get him going into some type of convention from some animated cartoon characters. Let alone we get somewhat of a little bit, not much of a backstory, but kind of essentially what went on between the team as far as Black Noir and Soulja Boy, and you know, Crimson and all of them essentially first members or whatever, and the members that Soulja Boy is going after or whatever. Speaking of, we still got Huey, Butcher, and Soulja Boy in the woods going after one of Soulja Boy's members as far as the new guy, or the other guy, Mindstorm or some shit. And Mindstorm's powers essentially are being able to put you under some type of hypnosis where you are in a nightmare stage. Pretty much in a stage where you're in a dream sequence of dealing with a situation that pretty much you didn't like, or one of your worst situations that you have dealt with in your life. But one thing I really liked about this episode was getting essentially that Butcher backstory. We're going to get to that, but we essentially do end up going over and getting the confirmation that Queen Maeve is still alive, which I pretty much figured she was. Like I said, watching TV shows how I have, if you don't see the death on the show, then it essentially didn't happen. But we do have Queen Maeve, and we get a conversation between her and Homelander. Essentially, you know, Homelander, he pretty much out here on Fear Street, literally. He even having these moments where he at press conferences or whatever, and he having nightmares of seeing Soulja Boy pop or whatever. So he's going through it, being that this is his first time feeling vulnerable as far as Homelander or whatever, feeling like somebody can actually hurt him or whatever. So he pretty much going to Queen Maeve, trying to conjure up some type of plan, letting her know what's going on or whatever as far as Soulja Boy's essential powers. And you know how we found out what he did to Kimoki. My bad, y'all, as far as names. Kanoki or whatever, Kimiki. Oh, guys, I feel like I can't with her name, but essentially Frenchie's girlfriend. And what happened with her when Soulja Boy blasted her or whatever and taking away her powers. But Queen Maeve, she's on that shit where it's like, I don't care if he was to take away my powers. That's the difference between me and you. You need to be a suit. Essentially dealing with Homelander, letting him know just how small he actually would be without his powers or whatever. So we get those things, and we get our confirmation, like I said, knowing Queen Maeve is alive. Going back to the woods, our boy Butcher and them are trying to find this Mindstorm dude, and got Soulja Boy walking around just smoking weed or whatever, pretty much keeping him at bay or whatever, because you know he get upset and shit. He pretty much go into radioactive mode or whatever, so he just essentially walking around smoking weed. He paranoid, he keep thinking he hearing stuff or whatever, and that's where we get across our first trap on Mindstorm. And one thing about it is, Soulja Boy explains that you can't look into his eyes. Whatever you do, don't look into his eyes or whatever. So when they come across this trap, Butcher ends up accidentally looking to his eyes or whatever, and it takes him into this like a dream sequence, this nightmare stage or whatever. And that's where we get kind of whatever our best scenes in this season. I mean, not in this season, but in this episode or whatever, episode 7 or whatever, going back to Butcher's backstory or whatever. And we essentially are getting why Butcher is who he is, the abuse he dealt with, him trying to protect his brothers or whatever, or him essentially being a little brother. Because I almost got confused in that moment, because I was like, oh, by the end, and I think I should have caught on to that at the beginning, but essentially he was the little brother. I always thought he was the big brother or whatever, and then he got into this moment where he couldn't protect his little brother or whatever, but he was the little brother. And I could be wrong again, y'all let me know in the comment section. But you essentially get Butcher's backstory and the understanding of why he is the way he is. But not only that, you kind of get their relationship and the understanding of the way he is with Huey too. Like I said, essentially big brother and little brother. And sometimes maybe even a little bit of Huey kind of being the big brother. It not a lot, but in certain moments you can kind of feel like he has that kind of moments with him or whatever. But essentially he is that big brother trying to protect Huey, being that he couldn't do it when he was younger or whatever. And that's why I kind of got confused, because I was like, was Butcher the little brother or the big brother? Y'all can let me know if I'm wrong or whatever in the comment section. But I really like that sequence. Like I said, it was a good emotional moment with Butcher, and seeing just the way he is and the way he deal with people, even with Mother Milk, and getting an understanding of his relationship and the way he goes about dealing with people or whatever. Going from that, man, we get Kamiko. That's her name. My bad, y'all. I was getting her name mixed up. Kamiko and Frenchie. They're pretty much coming to an understanding that she needs her powers. At first, I thought, was Frenchie going to try to get him some powers too, or did he have powers essentially? Y'all let me know, man. I'm trying to keep up with everything as far as going back to the previous boys or whatever. But did Frenchie have powers? I could have been wrong. I don't think he did, but let me know if I'm wrong. But we essentially get Kamiko and Frenchie pretty much coming to the understanding that they feel like she needs her powers, dealing with everything they've been dealing with, these near-death situations or whatever. They come to the conclusion that she needs it, and they pretty much get Starlight to go get the Compound V, the permanent Compound V, the blue shit or whatever. Not only that, we get A-Train, man. He is alive. He did make it, which I figured he was, but he has a new, speeding, healthy heart. He essentially got that bad heart out of him. Now he got a new heart. Come to find out, the heart is essentially the person that he just killed. Blue Shield, I think that was his name or whatever, but his heart that's beating in his chest is essentially the racist cop that he just killed or whatever, or the racist suit that he just killed that pretty much put his homeboy in a coma. And just the look on A-Train's face while Ashley sitting there explaining everything to him or whatever, I was just sitting there like, man, that's messed up. Y'all had to do that, man. It's a lot more going on as far as with the Deep. I wasn't going to dive too much into it, but the Deep, he trying to have a threesome with the octopus and his girlfriend or whatever, and they get into a fight as far as him feeling, where her feeling like she has helped him get to the position he is getting in as far as with Homelander and back into the 7 or whatever. But you got that little situation going on. I don't feel like it was that important or whatever. But essentially, Black Noir is going through it as far as watching everything play out as far as what he went through with Homelander, because Homelander was down there bullying everybody, and he beat the shit out of Black Noir throughout them being teammates or whatever. But essentially, we get what happened with them teaming up against my bad if I said Homelander, but Soulja Boy. As far as Soulja Boy coming in and pretty much bullying the group members or whatever, and you seen why Crimson said what she said to him, you know, with him saying he loved her or whatever, but Crimson saying that nobody liked him, never liked him. And this was a lot of hints throughout this episode, even when Soulja Boy first showed up, as far as what we get as far as the twist at the end. But essentially, Black Noir seeing how everything played out, and it's kind of like these little animated characters giving him his convention. It's pretty much trying to let him know that he don't need to run. He need to face Soulja Boy. And this is where I'm like, is Black Noir going to kind of come in and be like that missing puzzle? Is he going to come in and kind of be like that surprise against not only Homelander but Soulja Boy? Is he essentially more powerful than both of them? I don't think so, but it's going to be some type of surprise with Black Noir, I feel like. I really like what they did with him in this episode too, because like I said, we essentially have never got nothing with Black Noir going into these previous seasons, even going into this, besides the connection between him and Soulja Boy, because we didn't even know what happened when he, everything and the chaos that went on and everything was getting blown up or whatever, and you had seen how injured and how bad he had got injured. And we essentially see why he got that injured. It was Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy beat the shit out of him, and I mean bad. But it came to a point where they was trying to pretty much sedate Soulja Boy, and that's how he ended up getting captured by the Russians or whatever. Going from that, like I said, we get Homelander pretty much trying to still intimidate Starlight with everything that's going on, and come to find out she actually was recording him while he was trying to threaten or whatever. So he's still trying to save face with the company, and this is where you have Stan pretty much missing in those moments. You remember what Stan said, where once shit starts to go down, and it's pretty much going to happen soon, we are getting those moments. Stan predicted all of the things that we are starting to see, and you can kind of see how Homelander is unfolding and not being able to pretty much pretty much being able to hold front like he was with Stan. Even with Veronica, she is not Stan, and she ain't essentially coming in to try to put a dead to everything or whatever. She is trying to do what Stan was doing, but she's not as efficient with it as Stan was. And like I said, I still feel like Veronica has her own agenda, and she still has a plan as far as what she's trying to do or whatever. But with everything going on, it's Huey and Soulja Boy. He is pretty much trying to get Butcher out of this mind state he's in, as far as what Mindstorm did to Butcher. And you pretty much got Soulja Boy coming at Huey like, why do you care so much about Butcher and this and the third? And you had a relationship that him and Butcher Butcher and Huey have now. And you see how much Huey actually cares about Butcher, essentially saying that he is family. So you pretty much have Huey and Soulja Boy coming across Mind Blower, but Huey uses his his teleportation powers or whatever, pretty much teleporting the mind storm to Butcher so he can get him out of this nightmare phase or whatever. But the shit is too late. He does end up getting Butcher out of the nightmare phase, but they come across some type of deal where he was going to try to teleport Mindstorm away from Soulja Boy so he can't get him, but the shit is too late. Soulja Boy shows up and pretty much gets Mindstorm, beating the shit out of him. But I'm sorry, y'all, as far as it's in this moment where you get Mindstorm saying something to Soulja Boy, but we don't hear it as an audience at first. And that's where you got Butcher and Huey asking, what did he say to you or whatever, after Soulja Boy ends up killing Mindstorm, beating him to death pretty much. And that's where we get our big revelation at the end, our big twist, as far as dealing with Soulja Boy and Homelander. And essentially, Homelander came from Soulja Boy. It wasn't regular bourbon and all that, because you know Homelander was essentially created or whatever, but it was from Homelander's sperm. He goes into detail and all this shit about him jerking off in the cup and shit or whatever. But essentially, we do get our confirmation that, and it's not really even a confirmation, because I didn't see this coming. I was not even thinking about this as far as Homelander and Soulja Boy being kin, let alone Soulja Boy being Homelander's father or whatever. But we essentially do get the confirmation, and we get the surprise twist at the end of this episode that Soulja Boy is Homelander's father. But, well, he essentially was created from Soulja Boy. So moving forward, are we going to get a Soulja Boy and Homelander team up? Because the way Soulja Boy was talking to Homelander, it was like, you know, what father wouldn't be proud of his son, essentially saying that he wouldn't have been mad that he was more powerful than him or whatever, or that they created him for him. He would have let him lead the way, lead the charge. Or is Soulja Boy trying to set up Homelander? Because you know the type of person Soulja Boy is. It kind of seems like with his personality, he would be more intimidated or jealous of Homelander than welcoming open arms or whatever. I don't know. So it's going to be kind of interesting moving forward to see how they do this. And I did like that twist. I feel like this was probably the weakest episode out of season 3, but I did enjoy this twist as far as the whole Homelander and Soulja Boy, as far as Soulja Boy being Homelander's father or his creator, some to say the less or whatever. But y'all let me know, man, how did y'all feel about this recent episode of The Boys? I still enjoyed it. I like the twists and turns here and there. I feel like the Butcher's backstory was one of the best parts of this episode. minus the big twist, what I feel like stole episode, as far as Soulja Boy being Homelander's father or whatever. But y'all let me know in the comment section, how did y'all feel about this recent episode of The Boys? How did y'all feel about that twist at the end? Did you see it coming, or did you go with it? How did y'all feel about it? Let me know. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. This is the road to 600 subs. Make sure you hit that notification bell, let you know when I upload new videos. Shout out to everybody who's been coming through, checking out the lives as far as Friday, Uncut Ish Talk. I do appreciate it. Shout out to all my newer subscribers. I do appreciate it. Other than that, man, make sure y'all be looking out for that new P-Valley review Monday. Me and my co-host, Sandia. Other than that, we out.
So I went out there broke. I wasn't even thinking about acting. I was just thinking about surviving. But such is life. I ended up doing it, what I love the most. I ended up doing both of those things.